OM freaking G. You are not going to believe this. Even I had to do a double take, and I already know the power of this work. So I just had to get this in here. I'm running a 1-day video webinar workshop today, the Money Breakthrough Program. Somebody on that program took part in my 10-part Raising Your Money Vibration series, which ended on the 27th of September. It's now the 26th of October. So we're doing the thing. So we start off with what negative emotions, what limiting beliefs do you have about money? What paradigms do you have that keep you stuck? Because the premise is we're doing the Access Consciousness, we're doing the Huna. I've created several guided processes, meditations, etc. So everyone now is, and I've got pages, the document, I've got 17 pages that I was cutting and pasting into it in terms of the blockages, you know, the negative emotions, the fear, the scarcity, the worry, the anxiety. You have to work hard for money. There's no ROI. What you invest in yourself doesn't necessarily pay back, yada, yada, yada. It's going on and on and on, as I would expect. The person who'd been on my 10-part Raising Your Money Vibration webinar series, I'm going to read to you word for word what he put into the chat. And he's given me permission to share it. So it starts off, because I was saying, you know, what are your beliefs about money? And people are saying, you know, well, money is hard, da, da, da. He puts in, I am a magnet for money, smiley face. I'm like, oh, that's very cool. Then we kind of say, and then I'm doing a bit about your relationship with money, because I've created an exercise, like a movie script thing. So I take people through a series of questions for that. He comes up with, and then I'm talking about what's your relationship with money? He says, I love it, Marilyn, smiley face. I'm like, okay, very cool. We then get on to the next bit, and I'm talking about what energy does money have? Now, oftentimes people might think, you know, people saying it's restrictive, there's not enough, etc., etc. He then says the energy of money dash power in capital letters, exclamation mark. I'm like, okay, something's going on here, because, you know, sometimes I knew he could understand the exercise, but, you know, sometimes part of your brain is like, are they doing the same exercises as me? Because everybody else is sending all their, you know, negative stuff in. So I'm smiling to myself now going, this is quite amazing. Then he said, and then I'm talking about because there's one of the most powerful exercises, because this workshop is based on my 28-day money breakthrough program, e-coaching program. So every day for 28 days, you receive an exercise around having a breakthrough of money. And I've decided so that you get a PDF every single day. It's 2 pages. The exercise is anything from 4 to 8 steps long, and people take themselves through this as a coaching program. The very first time I ran this several years ago, because they all started at the same time back then, people were messaging me going, are you serious about this exercise? I'm like, don't argue with me, just do the exercise, do the dialogue, come back and let me know how you get on. People were coming back freaked out in terms of, that was so real, because it was the exercise that I devised around what I call the relationship with money. So again, I'm asking people to come up with the relationship with money. He then says, relationship with money, I love you. Because you're dialoguing with money, money's dialoguing with you. And we had, just to give you an example of the contrast, there's one that really made me laugh. Somebody said of their relationship with money, saying to money, because they're now arguing with money, if you were around more, I wouldn't have to chase you, because money said it feels like I'm in jail. So they were saying, if you were around more, I wouldn't have to chase you. And it's your own fault for beeping off, that's a swear word, for beeping off every 5 minutes. So that's the kind of dialogue we were getting. They come back and the message from money for them was, I love you. And now I'm like, are you serious? This is just amazing. Because I remember what their statements were like when we did the Raising Your Money Vibration program. And as I said, for those of you who are coming on later, that program finished on the 27th of September. Today's the 26th of October. So it's pretty much just 4 weeks since we finished. They then said, let me scroll down because I'm in the chat reading back what they said. They said, such a shift. I was sitting here and I couldn't think of any bad, in capital letters, any bad phrases for money, because then I was asking about money ancestry, money genealogy, money beliefs, money paradigms. They couldn't think of anything bad about money. So now I'm like, oh my God. Then a bit later on, so I, said something back. And then they said, yeah, I'm cool with that. Because I then said, can I share this? So they said, yeah, I'm cool with that. Share away. The more who get this, the better. Together we can change the world for the better. Exclamation mark, which is fantastic. And then I said, because this is something I get a lot, kid you not, I've had people accuse me of making up my testimonials because they're so fantastic and so incredible and so amazing and so transformational. My response to that is, have you seen my schedule? Do you really think I've got time to sit around making fairy stories? However, I get it. In the world that we live in with fake news and where people can buy likes on Facebook and social media, I kind of get what people mean. So I then said, do you mind if I share this? And I said, what can I call you? And so they've said, yeah, you can tell people it's Dave. He's an entrepreneur from the United Kingdom. So I just had to share that with you because that is just amazing, absolutely amazing. That was, Dave, if you're watching this, that was the reason why I created the Raising Your Money Vibration program, and all of these programs, in fact, because I started off this one where I was talking to people about things that have happened with my clients. So I talked to them about David Key, who, when we did a money breakthrough session together, that was a 1-day session. Although we split that one in 2 halves back then, he had said his income had increased by 300%. And there's a video on my website if you want to hear him talking about that in his own words. I was sharing something about someone else who, for the first time in 4 years, after doing the 28-day money breakthrough e-coaching program and the 1-day money breakthrough session, she said, for the first time in 4 years, my bank accounts, both personal and business, are at 0. And at first I read it and I'm like, well, that's not very impressive. And then I got the magnitude of that statement. Previous to that, she was always overdrawn, borrowing money from her parents, borrowing money from her boyfriend to make the rent. So to have your account at 0 balance is massively significant. And now, when I look at the numbers and the deals that she's doing now, there are 6 zeros on those deals that she's negotiating. So that is amazing. Some of you might have seen the thing from Anne Coppens, the gamification expert, a couple of weeks ago that I shared. She shared it in the Raising Money Vibration, and it was a 300. So I've got goosebumps now. I don't know if you can see that, because she sent me a quote. She says, Marilyn, kudos to you for this. We've just looked back at our previous year. Our income revenue is up by 300%. And the reason I got goosebumps, I'm like, that's exactly what David Key said. So I don't know what it is about the 300 number. That is just awesome. And I was talking about the client that I had who came to my very first Mind, Body, Spirit, Energy Fest workshop, which it's an annual workshop. So it runs the first weekend in December. So it's coming up in a couple of weeks' time. I think we've got 4 or 5 places left for that one. And he talked about being mortgage free. And I showed them the group. Those of you in the group, you saw it this morning. I showed you he wanted, when we were doing the coaching after the workshop, he wanted a lump sum, decided £10,000 would be a good number, was at a dinner coming up. So we put a goal in his timeline that he won the £10,000 check. The picture of him with the £10,000 check. You guys who are in the doing the 1-day video webinar workshop live now, you saw that picture of him with Keith with that check. So, it's just been really fantastic. And the client who said they wanted to be mortgage free, I was at a show helping out a friend of mine, a guy called Suki Wahiwala, one of these business shows at Excel. Met my client who was also at the first MBS, and he said, yeah, and it's just so lovely. I can do what I want now that I'm mortgage free. I'm like, hold on a minute. When we met, he was steeped in debt. He's mortgage free. Seriously, I could bore you all day with examples of the things that have happened for my clients embarking on this journey. Haven't got time because we restart. We've had 47 minutes and 1 second for lunch. We've got 60 minutes. So I'm going to have to go in a minute, but I was just so excited about this one. I had to share it with you. And for those of you who are watching, we're now embarking on part 2 of the Raising Your Money Vibration. Sorry, not Raising Your Money Vibration, the Money Breakthrough Workshops. If you want to join us, you can do still. You can get the last. We're finishing at 6 p.m. So what is it now? Yeah, so coming up to, so we've got another 3 hours to go if you want to come in on the tail end, but that means you will also get the recording, and people are asking about the recording. You have lifetime access to the recording. And so with all of the processes, all of the exercises, as I've been saying to everyone who's with me live in the group, if you need more time, when I render the replay, you can just put it on hold and do the exercises. And of course, with all of the guided processes, we've just done the Huna, we've just done the Access Consciousness, we've got some more cool stuff coming up after lunch. You can go back and replay those whenever you like. You have lifetime access to that material. Even when I'm no longer on this planet, and may that be another 100 years, here, because I really do like life. But even when I'm no longer here, you still have lifetime access. As long as Big Marker, which is the platform I use, is around, you have lifetime access to that material. So if you want to join us for the second half, if I've got time, what I'm going to do when I get off Facebook, when I get off this, because I'm on my iPad now, can't use the camera on my machine is locked in to the webinar room. But what I will do is I'll drop the link in if you want to join us. And if you happen to be watching this outside of today, it's the same link if you want to purchase the replay recording. I will also drop in the link for the 10-part. I think the Raising Your Money Vibration, I believe that one is www.moneyvibration.eventbrite.com. And the price on that, it'll be changing on the 31st of October, because what you've got now is the launch price, given that we just finished it a month ago. So if you wanted to purchase that 10-part program that Dave has done, which has shifted things so dramatically for him, then I'll put the link to that in the comments as well. So while I'm here, I just want to say thank you to everyone who has signed up. I'm totally multitasking today. Oh, my life. I've got people in the webinar room. I've got some people in what I call stealth mode and dark mode, so we can't actually see them. So I've got an open chat, then I've got a closed private Q&A, then I've got people, because there are some people who have dialed in by phone, so I've then got people sending me messages on Messenger, I've then got people sending me messages by email. So it's been a feat of multitasking. And as Shola has found out, in amongst all of that, I'm also on Facebook answering comments and commenting on people's posts. She's like, you're running a workshop, saying you got time to be on Facebook. But thank you to everyone from all of those different directions who are taking part. I'm really, really enjoying it. And one of the things people often ask about is, difference between the in-person workshop and doing it remotely, virtually, online. And as a friend pulled me up the other day, lovely lady called Tracy Lawrenson, she says, Marilyn, I think you need to start calling your trainings, your workshops, interactive workshops rather than just online or webinars, because she said, I've seen your webinars and the energy is just as dynamic as being there in person. And I shared a quote with the group earlier this morning, a lovely lady called Winifred, who's been to loads of my in-person workshops. She took part in both she was in the very, very first iteration of the Money Practitioner Insider Secrets, and she wrote, I thought I would miss being in the room, but this has been great. And I shared the quote with the group here today as well, in terms of what she said about a series that she's just finished. She said, it's my very first time doing something of this type and this length. And she said, highly recommend it. It was fantastic. So the energy does carry. I've already shared with the group about people who are watching and listening to my Access Consciousness and Huna clearings as recordings. Energy still carries through the recordings. And I remember years ago, I got an email from someone saying, oh, hi, Marilyn, I just want to thank you. I've just listened to your Huna MP3. And then they went on to describe everything that happened. And I'm like, what are they talking about? I haven't released a Huna MP3. So I went back and said, oh, that's really fantastic. What were you listening to? She put the name in. I'd put that out 5 years prior. It was 5 years old at the time she was listening to it. And the energy still carried, and she still got the same result. So this stuff is powerful. It's amazing. So, and one of the reasons I'm doing it online is, number one, so I don't have to keep repeating the same workshops over and over and over again. And number two, it means that, you have no travel costs, no accommodation costs, no food and subsistence costs, because at lunchtime you get up and walk to your kitchen, and you have access to the material. And so it means I just have to record it the once, which is what I'm doing now, and then the recording is there for everyone. So those of you who are there live, the benefit of that is you get to ask your questions in real time. And for those of you who are purchasing the replay recordings, you get to benefit from other people's questions and other people's input, because that's in the video, that's in it as well. Good morning from Jamaica. Would love to see you offering a treat over here. Roz, That would be amazing. If you can line people up, I'll be on a plane. So line them up, I'll be there. I also have people saying, oh my God, I don't know why photo reading is really popular in Australia. Most of my photo reading online sales, in terms of first what was the 1-day intro video webinar and now the full 3-day certification class, majority of those sales are to people in Australia. So I really, in 2020, and beyond that, I really must look at also seeing if I can organise something in Australia as well. But yeah, if you've got a group in Jamaica who are willing and ready and able, and you can get a group together, let's talk. I'll be there. So let's set a date. It's on. And if people can't make it to the UK, that's one of the beauties of the video webinar. When we did the Raising Your Money Vibration, I had people from the UK, around Europe, Canada, America, and Australia. And the lovely Pippa from Australia was so loving the program. She was getting up at 4 and 5 and 5:30 in the morning just to be live, because she just really loved the group and the interaction. That was amazing. So it's global. So there are no barriers now in terms of being able to do the trainings, because one of the things I heard most often was, oh my God, I wish I lived closer. And the technology is it's so incredible nowadays that, you know, you can be anywhere across the globe and you can take part. So yes, I will happily travel if you can get a big enough group together. And outside of that, people can get started as soon as today, because once the webinars are recorded, they are on demand. So all you have to do is click the link, make your payment, bang, you're into the webinar room. And the one we're running today will be rendered and ready and live if you guys want to take part tomorrow. So anyway, gotta go, because it's now 54 minutes and 33 seconds and we start in we had 60 minutes for lunch. So I'm going to go now and make myself a cup of green tea, and then I can be whoosh back in the webinar room ready for when the group from around the world reconvene. But if you're coming into this video webinar later, go back to the beginning and watch this, because that transformation and the money breakthrough is mind-blowing. So thank you, Dave, for sharing. Thank you for taking part and participating in the first place, because the change and transformation only happens when you take the plunge and sign up. So thank you for that. And I'll see you guys back in the video webinar room if you're joining me live. Catch you later. Bye. Yeah. Next one. So I've got several screens going here. I've just seen something pop on that one. Somebody says, when am I running my next live event? The next live event, if you're watching this in real time, is on Saturday the 16th of November, and it's the Fearless Public Speaking webinar. So it's a 1-day video webinar where I'm sharing with the things that I did to change and transform my public speaking, because I used to be terrified of speaking in public and could barely speak to my own family. And now, of course, the problem isn't getting me to speak, it's getting me to shut up. So Fearless Public Speaking is on the 16th of November if you wanted to join me live. And if you have signed up and you know you can't join live, because I've got a load of people who've signed up for today, they're not here live, they're going to be getting the recording. You can send your questions in and I will add those questions into the repertoire and fabric of the training and make sure all of your questions are answered, even if you can't do that live. So later on, I'll put the link in for the Fearless Public Speaking 1-day video webinar. That's the next one. Cool. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I will catch you all later and see you guys in the webinar if you're joining me today. Bye.